Hello children, in this part we will see the structure of human sperm. So, a human sperm is haploid, flagellate and motile structure. It is haploid, that means it has only one set of chromosome, as the process which was involved in the formation was meiosis. So, the sperm can be divided into 4 parts. In the structure, we see 4 parts of a sperm. First is the head part. There is a small depression, that is the second or the neck part. Sometimes this part is not very distinct, but that part is there. And one structure is also found in this, that is neck region. Third is known as the middle piece. The fourth is the tail region, this one. So, now when we see these structures, we see the head, it has further 2 parts. It has a nucleus part and acrosome. The head has nucleus part and this acrosome part. Acrosome, it makes a cap like structure. See. So, let us see how this complete head part is. The nucleus has become pointed anteriorly, you can see, and posteriorly this nucleus has a depression. So, here in this posterior part and anterior part is the pointed part. So, this is the condensed nucleus which has DNA and basic proteins. Above this is a cap like structure, that is acrosome. So, in anterior region we find this acrosome which is formed from Golgi bodies, and this is the complete head part that is surrounded by a plasma membrane. This one plasma membrane is surrounding this whole part. There is one more sheath inside. So, this complete part makes the head region, and in the head there are these 2 things which we have seen, the nucleus and the acrosome. So, now we see a smaller depression area, and in this part we find a centriole. So, there are 2 centrioles, one lies in the depression part and the second one, it lies here in this another depression part of the middle piece region, neck region. So, one lies in the depression of the nucleus, this one, that is on the posterior side of the nucleus, and the other one lies in the neck region. So, there are 2 centrioles. The one which is in the nucleus depression is called as proximal centriole, and this proximal centriole is responsible for the spindle formation during the first zygotic division. That means, after the fusion, when the zygote is formed and when it divides, then this centriole is going to help in the formation of the spindle. The second centriole is the distal, this one, this is called as the distal centriole, and distal centriole give rise to filaments which are called as axial filaments. So, these axial filaments, they run parallel to each other. So, this is how these filaments are going to run, and the narrow depression which we have seen in the neck part. After the neck region, there is a slight swelling, not as much as the head part which you have seen. This is slight swelling, head is a more swollen part, and this part is now known as the middle piece. So, the middle piece, it again narrows down, and then we see here it is narrowing down. We see the plasma membrane which is on the sides of this axial filament. These axial filaments in the center here, they have 9+2 arrangement of microtubules. Centrioles, they have 9+0 arrangement. In this middle part, the third part, the middle piece, and after there is a, see here only we are talking about the microtubule division, and then after this there is a long tail. So this is how they are. There are 4 parts in the sperm. This middle piece around this axial filaments, they are spirally arranged mitochondria. In this region we are going to find a spiral mitochondria which we can say is ribbon like, and this spiral mitochondria is called as Nebenкern. So Nebenкern is mitochondria that is spiral, and the last part is the tail part. We see 2 more membranes here. The upper part of the nucleus and the acrosome, they are covered by a cap like fibrillar membrane that is called as galea. This is called as galea. It covers only half of upper part of the head and the anterior half of the nucleus and acrosome. The lower half of the nucleus and middle part, they are covered by another sheath, and that is an additional membrane which covers this lower half of the membrane, this nucleus. In the neck region, the middle piece, this is inner to the plasma membrane and it is called as manchet. So these are the 2 additional membranes, upper half in the lower half. So this is how the structure of this sperm looks like. The structure and the tail is very long. This tail is very long. Mitochondria's function is to provide energy for the movement of the tail part, and this is the role of this. Acrosome, the function of acrosome is it produces sperm lysine, that is hyaluronidase, which digest the cells or the membranes around the egg. And this nucleus, it has the genetic material, the proximal centriole, first zygotic division, it has given rise to this and then distal the distal centriole, it has given rise to exoneme, which is going to make the skeletal structure of the tail, and mitochondria provides energy. Now let us see the cytoplasm, which only a little part is present, and that too in the tail region. You can see here only little part is present. Now after seeing the structure, I would like to tell you that there are 2 types of sperms produced. In males, the sex chromosome are X and Y. So if a cell containing X and Y, that is the germ cell, when it divides, it is going to give 4 daughter cells. So these 4 daughter cells are going to have half of the number of the chromosomes. So if we see here, what is going to happen is that 2 cells will be formed after meiosis 1, and where it is going to have one X and the other one is going to be Y, and then these 2 cells, they undergo meiosis 2. So this will give us 2 spermatids, and here we will get spermatids with the Y chromosome. You can see 2 with Y chromosome. So these are spermatids. So now when we see, these spermatids will form sperm by the process of spermiogenesis, and we would get 4 different types of sperms. So 2 sperms would be X containing sperms, and 2 sperms will be Y containing sperms here. X containing sperms are known as gymnosperms, and Y containing sperms are known as androsperms. So X containing are called as gymnosperms because X chromosome is predominantly, it defines the female sex hormone, and the ones which contain Y, they are called as androsperms. That means they would be 50% gymnosperms and 50% androsperms. So that is why the chances of which a sperm is going to fertilize are 50-50. When we study in genetics, we will see the sex determination and egg, which egg is going to bring X chromosome or Y chromosome. Depending upon that only the offsprings are formed. So if egg is going to bring X, it will always, the X chromosome will always carry X chromosome, and if X containing this gets fertilized by X containing sperm, so offspring will be daughter, and if this brings Y containing sperm, then that the result, the formation of offspring will be son. So the chances are 50-50. Now the viability of sperm, viability means for how much time will it retain the power of fertilization? This time period, so this time period where the sperm can fertilize, that is the viability. For how much time it will retain the power of fertilization. So, this time period which sperm has for fertilization, and in case of humans it is 24 hours. Sperms live much longer, but they retain the power only for the 24 hours, and that is why it is known as viability of the sperms. So, the process that is spermatogenesis, which results in the formation of haploid sperms, and then there are two phases. In the first phase, that multiplication, growth and maturation phase, and then the circular spermatids, they take place and they are formed, and these then spermatids are formed. They undergo the changes during spermiogenesis, which is specialized structures formed, that is the sperm, and cells undergo changes to form specific parts of a sperm. These are the four parts which are formed: head, which consists of nucleus and acrosome. Acrosome secretes sperm lysine. Genetic nucleus contains genetic material. Then the neck contains two what do you say, centrioles. Then middle part contains mitochondria, which provides energy for the tail movement, and the tail moves so that the sperm can enter and reach where the fertilization is going to take place. So, there are two types of sperms, that also I told you, X and Y, and which is required for the sex determination, and these X and Y sperms are called as gymnosperms and endosperms, and in next part we will talk about oogenesis. Thank you children.